Welcome to tonight's show. Tonight we got a great show. We're going to do part one of the song Judgment Day. It's a great boogie song. It's a boogie woogie kind of, or shuffle kind of beat to it. It was originally recorded by Eric Clapton on one of his records a few years ago. And it basically, the way he did it was with like a Mississippi Delta band he used, with multiple tracks of guitars and harmonica player, backup singers, and all of that stuff. And he sang the song too and played the guitar on it. But it's a wonderful song to play. It's a lot of fun. Like I said, it's basically based on a boogie, which is basically a blues. So, playing the guitar, you really have to play the blues, no matter what kind of guitar playing you do. Blues is really essential. And one of the types of blues that you would really want to play is like a boogie style. It can be played a number of different ways, and it really lends itself to a lot of great guitar techniques and things that you can add to it later on, like soloing, the pentatonic scale. The pentatonic scale works beautiful with it. If you want to just get your feet wet on learning how to solo a little bit. And also it creates good guitar technique playing the boogie. And I'll show you why. It's basically, when Eric Clapton, he did it in the key of E. Now the key of E is a great key, because you have the open strings, and basically it would be the E chord, the A, and the B chord. But what I did is I changed it to the key of A, which is good too because you have open strings also. You have the open A and the open D string, which works fine. And the reason why I changed it to the key of A is when I played the melody, it seemed to work a little bit better in the key of A. So that's what I did. We'll go over the guitar part, first guitar part, the second guitar part. Maybe we'll do a little bit of the melody also, and look a little bit into how you would solo on a particular song like this. Okay, so the first part we're going to do is I'm going to show you the second guitar part, second backup guitar part. The reason why I'm doing that, it's a little bit easier to play. The first guitar part has a couple of fills in it that are, a little advanced if you're not used to it. But if you could do guitar 2, you could always segue right into guitar 1 after you can play guitar 2 well, and you kind of understand what's going on. Okay, like I said before, it's in the key of A, so what we're going to play is that 5th string, that open A, and put the first finger down on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, and play both of those notes together. Now, a lot of times in music, they call that a power chord. That's the open A and the E note. If you play both of them together, they call it a power chord. It's used in a lot of different kinds of guitar. A lot of hard rock uses all power chords. So basically, that's a power chord. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to keep the first finger down, all right? Play both strings together. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my 3rd finger now on that 4th fret on the 4th string. Okay, and once again, I'm going to be playing the 5th string open, and my 3rd finger on that 4th string, on the 4th fret. Alright, so I'm going to play the first finger to the 3rd finger, making sure I play both strings with the pick. I'm going to strike both strings like as if it was one note, like that. You don't want to play it like where they're separate. You want them to sound like, you're playing them exactly at the same time. And this is one of the reasons why it's so good to play a boogie, is to be able to put your first finger down, hold that down and don't move it, and then just add the 3rd finger 2 frets higher. Now the key is not to move the first finger, because what we're going to do is we're going to alternate back and forth between the first finger and 3rd finger while striking both strings together. So we're going to do it twice for each one. So I'm going to pick each one twice, and then I'm going to switch to the 3rd finger and play that twice. And that's that boogie sound. And you want to try to get that rhythm to it. Okay? So once again, you want to keep your first finger on that 2nd fret on the 4th string. Play both strings with the pick. Then go to the 3rd finger. Okay, now with the counting, when we play those notes twice, those little chords or those intervals, however you want to call it, I like to call them like little chords. The count's going to be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that gives you your 4 beats, okay? So it's going to be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, you got it? All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do that pattern for 4 measures, okay? So it's going to be, watch how it works. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2nd measure, 3, 4, 3rd measure, 2, 3, 4, 4th measure, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it's 4 measures of that pattern, and that's based on the A chord. Now, if somebody was playing with you and wanted to play a chord while you played that boogie pattern, you could play an A chord or an A7. That would work perfectly with it. Okay, so basically, like I said in the beginning of the program, this is a boogie, shuffle boogie. It's basically a blues, and a blues is generally 12 bars long. Okay, now the way the song is played, it's a little alteration to that pattern, whereas when the guitar is soloing or the harmonica is soloing, whoever's soloing, it's played as a 12-bar blues. But when you sing the melody, there's actually 4 more bars that are added. So for the first part, instead of playing just 4 bars, 2, 3, 4, you're going to do 8 and then change. Okay, we'll get to that a little bit later on. But first, what you want to do is do the second guitar part, which is 4 measures of the first pattern. Okay, well, once again, I'll play it. 1, 2, count. 3, 4, 2nd measure. 2, measure, fourth measure. Okay, now the next part's very similar. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to change strings. I'm going to go over to the fourth string open and bring my first finger over one string. So that would be on the third string. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing. Only thing is different. I'm going to be pressing on the third string and alternating on the third string to the fourth fret. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, you got that? So it's the same type of pattern as the first one, just that we're changing strings. And the other difference is this one's only going to be 2 measures long. Okay, so it's 4 measures for the first pattern, 2 measures for the second pattern. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the first pattern again. Now this is going to be 2 bars also. So how many is that altogether? Yeah, 8. So it's 4 for the first pattern, change strings to the open D string, and that's based on the D chord or D7 chord, the 4 chord. You play that 2 bars, so that gives you 6 altogether. You go back to the first pattern, and again you do that for 2 bars, and that gives you your 8. Okay, so let me play the whole thing from the beginning. It's going to be like this: 3, 4, 1, 2. Second, back, okay, and now what we're going to do is we're going to play a chord. What we're going to do is, since this is in the key of A, we're going to go to the 5 chord now. And the 5 chord in the key of A would be E, or E7. And a lot of times with the blues we play, instead of just a 7 chord, which you can play, which sounds fine, we play a 9 chord. All right, so this is going to be an E9 chord. So what we're going to do is we're going to come all the way up to the 7th fret, okay? And you're going to put your second finger on the 5th string, 7th fret. Okay, second finger goes there. Your first finger goes on the next string, 4th string, on the 6th fret. So it's right next to each other. Okay. And then your third finger is going to go on the 3rd string, okay, 7th fret. Now what you're going to do with that third finger is you're going to bend him down and bar from the 3rd string to the 1st. Okay, now what you want to do is try to flatten that finger out. If you look, you can see how I'm flattening that 3rd finger out. And then I'm bringing the other 2 fingers kind of around. So that's the E9 chord. Okay. So once again, it's on the 7th fret. This is what it looks like, E9. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to strum that E9 the same type of pattern we did in the beginning. That boogie type of strum, which was 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So with the chord, it's going to sound like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Some people play with all down strokes. You can do that, or you can do down, up, 2 and 3 and 4 and. It's really what you want. Okay, so once again, it's just 1 measure for the E9. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Then we're going to change chords again. Now we're going to just slide down to the 5th fret. All right, it's a D9, okay, because we're up on the 7th fret. That's E9. If you go alphabetically backwards, it's D, right? So it becomes the D9 chord. So we're going to do that for 1 measure also, okay? So from the E9, 1, 2, 3, 4, D9, 3, 4. Okay, so we got that. So I'll play the whole thing from the beginning. Watch. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Third measure. 4th. Change strings. Back. E9. now we're going to go to an A chord.